A bittersweet birthday celebration in Washington, D.C. for a boy who couldn't be present.
It hurts so bad. It hurts really, really bad. He was only 11 years old. He had so much ahead of his life. He had a future for it just to be taken away.
Sixth grader Davon McNeil was killed by a stray bullet on July 4, 2020, U.S. Independence Day. 4 suspects, apparently part of a gang feud, are in custody while an investigation continues.
It has happened to so many families in D.C. Why? Why are we left to mourn our loved ones, especially our children?
Despite a more than $60 million federal push to reduce killings, not counting suicides, there were more than 19,000 gun violence homicides last year, the highest number in 20 years. The average homicide rate in 21 cities increased 32% over 2019, with 198 reported in D.C. alone, also a sharp increase. Criminologist Richard Rosenfeld in part blames COVID-19 and the disruption of police patrol routines to address mass protests after George Floyd was killed by a Minneapolis police officer.
The impact of the pandemic on policing, the possible deterioration of so-called police legitimacy in communities hard hit by the increase in violence and by police violence, that can make for a deadly combination that sends overall rates of violence up.
One strategy to keep crime in check, hiring so-called violence interrupters. Davon's mother, Crystal McNeil, used to work in that role for the D.C. government. She built relationships in troubled communities and encouraged people to put down their weapons. Davon's grandfather leads the D.C. Guardian Angels. They take a similar approach, but courageous as they are, these outreach initiatives struggle against limited resources and red tape, and results are mixed, in part because root causes, economics and racism, persist.
If you have a community where they're dealing with the similar circumstances, where it's poverty, where it's lack of education, where it's lack of food, where like these individuals are constantly in survival mode, and they so easily can get a gun, you're going to see you're going to see the statistics at a high level.
Everyone is so quick to jump, judge, and persecute that they don't stop to ask the questions, what are your needs and what hasn't been met that we can make your situation better? And these people are angry. The kids are angry, the teenagers are angry, the young adults are angry because they're tired.
President Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan, which must pass Congress, includes substantial financial aid and mental health resources for struggling Americans, particularly in poor communities. Locally, a budget of $2.4 million has been approved for D.C.'s Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement for violence prevention and intervention in 2021. But cities around the country could also opt for a less expensive approach. It's called focused deterrence.
Those at high risk for violence to become the next victim or the next perpetrator are typically called into meetings held by the criminal justice community and the social service community, and they're given a two-pronged message. The one at first is, look, we obviously know who you are. The second message is, here are services and supports that can help. Basically, then, the choice is yours.
After losing her grandson, Mrs. Ayala wants all illegal weapons off the streets and the court system to rethink releasing prisoners due to COVID. One was allegedly involved in the shooting that took Davon's life.
There have been so many that have been released with violent and gun charges that have come out and murdered more people. The court system has to change. Come on, judges, you got to do a better job.
Verónica Valderas Iglesias for VOA News, Washington.